Hey, what's up? Jason here from Unity3D.college. In this video, I want to talk about bad code and how to make it better. So I've created a simple little project where I have a character that I can run around with, but the code behind him is pretty messy and not really up to the standards that I'd like. So you can see I can just kind of move around, click to fire, and there's a jump, but it's not even working right. So let's open up the script that I'm talking about, and again, remember that this is intentionally bad. I had to write something bad so that I could show you how I make it better. So here's this character mover script. You can see it's got a decent amount of stuff on there already quite a few fields. So let's take a look at the actual code. And yeah, as you can see here, lots of fields on here, more private fields, a whole lot of extra stuff. This update method starts on line 44 and goes all the way down to line 87, and we're almost at 100 lines of code. Now when I'm building my own projects, I usually have a pretty strict rule on code length for classes. I try to keep them around 100 at the most lines, and when they get to 200, I definitely start looking at refactoring them. If they go between 100 and 200, it's okay in most cases, but start to watch when it gets over 100. And at 200, it's almost definite that I'm going to refactor something. And methods like this, I really can't stand. So this method is, like I said, what is it? 44 to 89. Yeah, we're almost 50 lines long in this one big giant method. And it's not really doing a lot of complicated stuff. It's just doing a lot of things, and it's messy. So the first technique that I want to cover is just extracting out methods so that your stuff is more readable. And then later on, I'm going to jump over to splitting this into multiple classes so it's not so damn terrible. So the first thing I'll do is select some code like this. So I'll find a chunk that does something. So you see here, we read the horizontal and the vertical input, and then we do some motion and movement stuff. Now, some people may be inclined to just do a comment here, like move character, and then look down at the next spot where it says, okay, this is checking if they hit space, and then it does a ray cast downward to look at something. It's actually checking to see if they're on the ground, and then jumps them up, and then they do something like, okay, this is the jump section, and maybe they'll go, end jump, or some other terrible crap like that. Don't do that. Just delete the comments out, delete that out, delete this out. There's a much simpler solution. You can just select these lines. If you're in Visual Studio, just hit Control period, and the extract method option will pop up. It's the only option. You can just hit enter, and we can just call this move. Then I can go down and select this whole section for the space check. Select it all. Again, Control period, jump, or try jump. I'll just call it jump. Yeah, that's good enough. And then I'll select this section. Let's see, this one is checking to see if they press fire 1. If they did, we spawn a bullet, add some force to the bullet. This is probably a bad idea to do. Calling get component there, not really needed. Of course, this would all really be in a pooling system, not just instantiated here in a real situation. And then we play some audio that we fired this thing. So this is pretty simple. We can just call this fire bullet. And down here we are regenerating some health. So we have a health variable, a current health, a max health, and we add health if the timer is met. So this could just be extracted to regen health, and then we can extract this down to regen mana. And you might be able to tell already that this has quickly become a whole lot more readable. Right? Now we can take a real quick glance at it and see that it says move, then we try jumping, then we fire bullets, then we regen health, and we regen mana. So now the update method is simple to read. We can tell exactly what's going on. And again, if I just undo and we take a quick look back, oops, too far. There we go. And I'm just going to zoom out. You can see it was all of this. And you could figure it out, right? You could read this and see what it's doing, but the other method is much easier. You can see move, jump, fire bullet, regen health, regen mana. Now the next step would be to just split all of these different functions into separate classes. So health and mana could be on a stats class. the input reading should probably be in a separate class, and then firing bullets could be on a weapon class or something like that, where it's more split out. We really don't want to have this one class doing as much as it is, but I really wanted to just cover extract method in this, and I want to show one more cool feature with the extract method shortcut. So let me do that now. So let's imagine for a second that I have a bunch of child renderers on this object, and every frame or every update I want to do something to those renderers. Maybe I want to just change the material color and do something else. So what I could do is like materials equals get components in children, renderer, actually it'd be, renderers equals get components in children renderer. And then maybe down here we have a for loop, so we do for each rend in renderers. And in this, wait, did that not work? Oh, that was missing an S. So this should be an array of renderers. There we go. So now we're looping through all of these renderers, and for each renderer we're going like rend dot material dot color equals color dot red, whatever. And we're doing rend dot, what do we want to do? Let's do maybe we'll set the texture offset. Yeah, let's do that. So we'll do rend.material.set texture offset to 0, comma, what do we want to do? Maybe we'll do like a new vector to time.time, comma 0. Right, so we're doing some weird thing where we're doing at least more than two things. Now what we could do in here, and I just want to show this extraction, is select these two lines and hit control period and call this like do something to renderer. And here you can see what happened is it automatically detected that we were going to need the renderer from this loop in the method, and then it generated it with that as a parameter and passed it in. So not as useful in this little demonstration right here as it has been in a lot of other cases. Sometimes you have 5 or, hopefully not 5, but a couple parameters in there and they automatically get generated, and it's pretty nice. So if you haven't used the extract method functionality, definitely try it out. I don't remember what the hotkey is in MonoDevelop, but again in Visual Studio, you just select the chunk of code like this, do control period, and hit enter and give it a name. So do stuff to renderers. There we go. Cool. So if you like this video, don't forget to like and hit subscribe. If you have any questions, just drop a comment below and I'll get back to you. And thanks for watching.